This young man would grow up to become one of England's most dangerous inmates. Oh, hi there, stranger. This is part 24 of the England's Whole Lifers series, so viewer discretion, as always, is advised. So today I'm going to be telling you about Mark Nigel Robinson. He was born in 1962, and I really don't have any information on his childhood or upbringing, other than what he said himself, which was that he was raised by good, decent, hardworking, quite conservative parents. Aged 17, Robinson joins the RAF. He was only in there for a few months when he returned home for the weekend, which was Spring Bank Holiday weekend, and that was May 1979. During his weekend visit home, Robinson decides he wants to have an intimate relationship with a lady that lived on the same street as him and his parents. This lady's name was Patricia Wagner. Patricia was a 32-year-old mother of three who had been married and divorced and was married to her second husband, who was an American man. Patricia had been on holiday in America with her husband, but had returned home for the Spring Bank Holiday weekend. And this brings us to the evening of the 27th of May 1979, when Robinson decides that he's going to pursue this night of intimacy with his married neighbour. He goes into Mrs. Wagner's house, into Patricia's house through the back door, pretending to be drunk and pretending that he has just got the wrong house. He's just made a mistake. He would later tell police that he was put off of the idea of having any sort of intimate relationship with Patricia due to what she had told him about her past. According to Robinson, Patricia had then threatened to tell his mother that he had been at her house that evening, that he should tell his own mother or that she would. And it's at this point that Robinson says he gets up to leave, but shouts an insult at Patricia. And at that point, he loses his temper and lashes out at her, breaking her nose. Patricia would try to defend herself by grabbing at the back of Robinson's head, but he would continue to hit her and kick her. And then he used the cord of a lamp that was nearby to manually compress her neck until she passed away. This 17-year-old kid left poor Patricia there, just laying on the floor of her living room, and then left the house. Patricia, as I'd said, had three children, two of whom were camping on a field nearby, and an 8-year-old son who was staying at Patricia's mother's house. Patricia's mother lived just over the road from Patricia, so the next morning her 8-year-old son walked over the road to come home and found his own mother at 8 years old. Another very sad detail of this story is that Patricia was unalived the day before her 33rd birthday. Luckily, a different neighbour had seen Robinson leaving Patricia's address in the middle of the night, and this was reported to police, and Robinson was in custody within hours of Patricia having been found. He gave a confession to the police, the same story that I have just told you, and he was sent to prison. And I know what you must be thinking, right? That was short and sweet because he's gone to prison. He unalived somebody in a brutal and senseless way, so now he's going to go to prison for the rest of his life, right? Right? No, strangers, wrong. Because, of course, he was 17 when he committed the first unaliving. So, what do you think on that one? Should he have gone to prison for the rest of his life, age 17? Or do you think it was right to give him a chance to be rehabilitated? Just before you answer that, give me a chance to tell you the rest of the story, though, okay? Because just 10 years later, he's released from prison in March 1989. Upon his release from prison, Robinson meets 25-year-old Sharon Morley. And this is her. This is Sharon. And what a babe. She is stunning. Unfortunately, Sharon does get into a relationship with Robinson, and the pair as a couple move to Billingham. Sharon isn't really happy there, and she does want to return home to Wakefield, but Robinson doesn't, and this causes some issues and arguments between the two. And then on the 19th of September 1989, just 7 months after he was released from prison, Robinson finds a photograph of Sharon's ex-boyfriend in the home that they share together. A vicious attack ensued from Robinson, resulting in Sharon's unaliving by beating and repeated impalement. Mark Nigel Robinson was found guilty and finally given a whole life tariff order. Prison, however, did not suppress Robinson's violent nature, and he on one occasion attacked a prison guard so forcefully that he fractured his cheekbone, and the prison guard also needed stitches in one of his eyes. On another occasion, his bread ration was cut, and so he attacked another group of prison guards. It took 10 men to stop Robinson's attack, and 5 of them ended up in the hospital. Robinson is 6 feet tall and 20 stone, for context. And if that last snippet of information didn't do to you what it did to me, then I'm going to share with you. It took 10 men to put that man down, and 5 of them ended up in the hospital. I cannot imagine how terrified Sharon must have been in her last moments on this earth. And Patricia, of course. My heart just absolutely breaks for those 2 women. I hope they're resting peacefully. And you know what? If they're not, then I hope they're tormenting him. I hope they're haunting him. I've got to haunt him every night, every day of his life. I hope he is in misery. Just for full disclosure and to wrap everything up, he did receive extra time on his whole life order for the attacks on the prison guards. And he's still alive and kicking. Oh, sorry for that choice of expression. But he's still serving out his time, and good. I hope he's miserable and unhappy. Rest in peace to Patricia Ann Wagner and Sharon Morley. And now that you know the full story, what do you think? Should he have got life at 17? Should they have tried to rehabilitate? Can you rehabilitate a mind like that? How do we know? What are the steps that you would need to go through to feel safe to have someone like that living next door to you? Please tell me what you think, because I would never have said keep a 17-year-old locked up for the entire rest of their natural. But now I'm thinking, you know, poor Sharon, she did not stand a chance. It took 10 men to put him down in a prison environment. So please give me your thoughts and opinions on this one, because yeah, it changed one of my thoughts and opinions for sure. And as always, if you've stayed with me up until now, then thank you for listening, and I will see you for part 25.